Welcome to this series of free masterclasses where I will be talking about the secrets to create a cash generating and financially stable business. Now, we all know that 2020 was a very difficult and tough year for multiple businesses. And I truly believe that if you are a business, whether you are starting out or whether you are already in business for many years, but if you can apply these principles that I will be sharing during the next free masterclasses, that you will be able to create a business that is financially stable and where you are in a good cash flow position. Now, what I could also see from owning a couple of businesses myself and also working with multiple small to medium-sized businesses, I could see that the businesses who had these principles and secrets in place, they were definitely in a much better position and also a lot less stressed during this pandemic. It was a lot easier for them to survive this pandemic, even though their income was also impacted and sometimes they haven't received any income whatsoever. Where I could also see that the businesses who didn't have these principles in place were a lot more stressed during this period, and they also really struggled to survive. So I hope you will be enjoying together with me these free master classes. But let me first introduce myself and tell you a little bit more about my background. My name is Ronel Jooste. I am a chartered accountant by profession, and I've spent more than a decade in the large listed corporate world, where I've worked with the top 4 banks, the large listed insurance and investment companies. And in 2015, I have decided to start my own financial consulting and training company called Financially Fit Life. Now, it is obviously the experience that I have gained working with those large listed and successful companies that I am using these days to help my clients who are small to medium-sized businesses to also apply these principles, because I have seen what those big companies are doing. How do they analyze their financial results? How do they manage their finances? And it is that experience and expertise that I'm using to help my clients to also thrive financially. But we also do accounting and tax services. I have received multiple awards as a businesswoman as well as in the financial sector. I am the author of the book Financially Fit and Wealthy. I've also received the African Authors Award in the financial literacy category for my book. And then I am also the co-owner, together with my sister, of a Seek Fit guest house in Centurion. And today I would like to talk to you about the 3 key principles to pandemic-proof your business. Now, you would obviously, when I have mentioned that I do own a guest house, and you would know that the hospitality industry was severely impacted during the pandemic and the lockdown period. And these key principles that I will be sharing with you in this first masterclass, I really believe are critical for any business to be able to pandemic-proof their business and to be able to survive any pandemic whatsoever that pandemic might be. Now, first of all, I want to talk to you a little bit more about our guest house, just give you a little bit of background so that you understand better as I go through the masterclass what I am talking about, and just so that you have a better understanding of the background. Now, we have opened up Physique for Guest House in 2016. We have had no experience of the hospitality industry whatsoever. We have started from scratch with no database, no list of guests or clients, and we literally had a big dream of building up a successful and profitable guest house, and we also had a lot of hope that we will be able to achieve those dreams. Now there you could see Joyce and Eva, who have joined us at that stage at Cleaners. And yes, the next couple of years, it was really tough and hard, and really not an easy journey. But I have to say that we definitely worked hard, and there's a picture of us at the end of 2019 where we have received, or we were the runner-up in the GWOP Businesswomen of the Year competition. And there you can see Joyce and Eva together with myself and my sister, and we are 100% female-owned and managed guest house. So even though it was a really tough and difficult start, we have managed to build the guest house up into a successful and profitable guest house in about 3 years. Now, if I can just give you a little bit of our results to also just emphasize certain points. In year one, we were making a loss. Because starting out a guest house requires a big capital outlay, and obviously you also have a lot of maintenance to run a premises that big. But apart from that, like I said, we were starting out from scratch, and we really haven't had a lot of guests during the first year because we just didn't know where to find guests, what's the process. We were completely the new kid on the block. But after year one, building up to year three, we were very fortunate that we had a 200% growth in revenue. And in the 2019-2020 financial year, we were able to make our full year target after only 9 months. And in January 2020, we could double our revenue from January 2019. So we really have seen a lot of growth, a lot of development. We were really starting to see a success story unfolding. And there is a picture of us celebrating our third birthday in April 2019 together with my book launch, and we were just really happy in terms of how the business is growing. And then you know what happened in April 2020 this year. We have celebrated our birthday being in lockdown. So we literally went from being fully booked to not having any guests or any income whatsoever. So it was really a devastating and tough time for us to survive. But then I also have to say that we have managed to survive during this period, still being able to pay our employees, still being able to pay our expenses without having any funding from our personal accounts or funding from our other businesses. And if I have to look back, I have to say I am just so thankful for the fact that I've spent a lot of time in the years building up to going into lockdown to really make sure that we are in a financially good and stable position. And I've really spent some time to fortify our business and to make sure that we are in a position to survive a pandemic. So with that, as a bit of more background, I want to share with you the 3 key principles to pandemic-proof your business. And I want you to make notes and see where you can apply some of these principles in your business. Now, I believe one of the really key and important principles would be to create multiple income streams. And this applies for both your business as well as your personal financial situation. And the reason I'm saying this is because when you do have multiple income streams, you are able to diversify your income streams to actually reduce your risk. And then also, this was really what we believe crucial to survive a pandemic. Because if you can imagine that if we only had the guest house as our only source of income, it would have been a disaster to really be able to survive for 5 or 6 months without receiving any income. And this is why it is so important that you have these multiple income streams, because the more income you can generate, the more cash flow you will be able to create. And we will touch on this again as we go through the presentation so that you can see how it links up with the cash flow of your business. And then what is also important is that you focus on also creating more passive income sources. Because if you think about it, you cannot continue to create more and more businesses or income sources that require for you to spend a lot of time earning that income, because all of us only have a limited capacity when it comes to time. And that is why we need to see, but how can we generate income in our businesses or even in our personal life that actually is passive, that actually doesn't require for us to work to be able to earn that income. And the biggest reason for why you want to be able to receive passive income or create passive income streams as part of your multiple income streams that you are building up is the fact that passive income provides you with some time freedom as well as financial freedom. And ultimately, that will help you to create financial security. So this is something that I really believe that you should continuously be thinking about in your business in terms of what can you do to create additional streams or additional lines of income but also try to think, how can you be able to create it as a passive income source and not an active income source, because none of us want to work 24/7 hours for the rest of our lives. So such a critical principle that I believe any business owner should apply. Then the second important one is to know that cash flow is the lifeblood of any business. And this was really very evident during the pandemic, was that the businesses who were in a good positive cash flow position were the businesses who had a lot less stress, because they knew there was sufficient cash for them to be able to survive this pandemic. And the second important thing to remember with cash flow is that cash actually create financial stability. If you just have that peace of mind to know that there is sufficient cash to pay for your creditors, to pay for your expenses, to pay your staff, to pay yourself a salary, then you definitely create financial stability in the process. And that is why it is so important that you focus on both profitability as well as cash flow. And I'm going to talk about this a lot more in Masterclass 2, where I will be talking about why is it that quite often chasing sales can actually cause financial difficulty. So you have to listen to Masterclass 2, where I will be discussing this in a lot more detail. But I think so many businesses are so busy focusing on profitability, and they never spend some time on making sure that they are in a good and positive cash flow position, that they make sure that the cash is coming into their business as quick as possible, and that they actually manage the outflows of their business much more effectively. Then the last key principle that I want to share with you in this masterclass would be to create an emergency fund. Now, this is hugely important for any business, and sometimes people believe that an emergency fund only applies to your personal financial situation, but that is totally not true. You also need an emergency fund for your business. And I have to say, if I have to think about these 3 principles that I'm sharing today, then I have to emphasize one of them as being the most critical for us at the guest house to be able to survive this pandemic, then it would be the fact that we had an emergency fund in place. And if I think of or taking myself back to where we have started the guest house, then when we started to make a bit of profit, that was really the first thing that I've started to do, was to start building up an emergency fund. And I am so thankful for that. And I can also say, in terms of my clients that I'm helping, and that all of them who had an emergency fund that they could fall back onto during this pandemic, all of them would tell you that this was really for them and for us at the guest house, the saving grace that has put us in a position to be less stressed during this period because we knew that there were funds available that we could use to pay for our expenses and employees during this time. And I think this is because people sometimes think, but I do not really have enough profit or enough cash to build up an emergency fund. How should I do it? How much should I have in my emergency fund? And this is something that I'm discussing as part of my online course, because having an emergency fund is one of the steps as part of the 4 steps to business fortification. And this is such an important step that I want to emphasize, because you want to make sure that your emergency fund is also not too much, because then you are losing out on other potential opportunities. But you also don't want to have a too small emergency fund, because then it will also not be sufficient. So there's a whole process around building up an emergency fund, and the truth is any business can do it if you know how to do it. Basically, the secret of how you can start out small, but it can help you to build up that emergency fund that is so critical. Now, since I've been mentioning now the online course that I have created, I want to share with you a little bit more about this online course. And the reason being is that I could really see during this period for our guest house, as well as all my clients that I'm consulting for, or that I'm helping, that the ones who had these principles in place were the ones who were able to survive with a lot less stress. And I've basically used all of those principles and I've packaged it into free courses to help any business to be able to create financial stability and create a positive and good cash flow. So this is online courses that you will be able to do in your own time at home. So it's really convenient. You can do it at your own pace. And the first course is all about from just surviving to a financially stable business. Now, it is about 1 hour of video tutorials, and then I'm going into the 4 steps of creating business fortification. And like I've mentioned, one of them being to explain to you how you should be setting up your emergency fund. Then I'm also talking about increasing the value of your business, because this is something that a lot of businesses neglect. And this is such an important component if you really want to build up a solid and a financially stable business for the future. And then I'm also talking about whether you are really making profitable sales, because we quite often we chase sales all the time, but we never really understand whether those sales are in fact profitable. So I show you examples of how you can really go back to the costing and the pricing of your products and services and make sure that your products and services are in fact profitable. So you will be receiving a workbook that you can use to practically apply all of these principles in your business, and you will also be receiving a certificate of completion at the end of this course. So this course is all about creating financial stability within your business. So there's no complicated jargon. You will see that it is actually very easy to understand the concepts and the principles, and all these videos are broken down into very short bite-sized videos, so it won't take up a lot of your time. You can literally, even if you just have 5 minutes or 7 minutes during the day, you can at least watch one of these videos to help you to create more financial stability. So this is what course 1 is about. Then there's also course 2 that I'm adding as an additional bonus, because like we have discussed now, cash flow is so critical to any business, and this is all about transforming your business into a cash generating machine. So again, it will be 1 hour of video tutorials, and we will be discussing let your cash count, why you need to generate sufficient cash, improve your invoicing to generate more cash, how to get more cash in much quicker. So we will really be going through a couple of cash flow strategies that you can apply in your business. And we will also be discussing why and how to extend your cash outflows. So you will also be receiving a workbook to practically apply all of the principles that you are learning, as well as a guide to improve your business cash flow. So this is all about improving your cash flow, and like we have said as part during principle number 2 that we have discussed, that cash flow is really the lifeblood of any business. And then the last course, online course 3, is all about keeping your business cash flow positive. So this is another bonus course that you will be receiving. Again, 1 hour of video tutorials. And here we will be discussing the financial statements. What story, your cash flow story, is your financial statements telling? We will be discussing why would profit and cash be different, and also how to measure and monitor cash flow. And then we will also be demystifying the complicated cash flow statement. So you will also be receiving a template of a cash flow statement together with some notes, so that you can really understand the cash flow statements in your financial statements and what story it is telling about your business. But then you also will be receiving, and this is my favorite, a quick tool to monitor your cash flow. Now this is the tool that I am using in all my businesses to monitor my cash flow on an ongoing basis. But this is also the tool that all my clients are using to monitor their cash flow. So it's so easy, but it's really a powerful tool that you can use on an ongoing basis. You will also be receiving a workbook, and this course specifically is all about providing you with the tools to monitor your cash flow. Because like what we've discussed now as part of principle 1, in terms of creating multiple income streams, you want to generate more cash with multiple income streams, creating more income for your business, but then you want to know how to monitor and manage that cash flow effectively, because there's no point in getting cash or getting sales into your business, but then you don't know how to manage it and how to really make your money work for you. terms of value, how much will you typically be paying for these free online courses out there in the open market? You will typically be paying about 2,500 Rand per course, and that adds up to a total value of 7,500. So you will typically receive value of at least 7,500 Rand for these free courses. But I'm definitely not going to expect you to pay 7,500. I know we have been through a very difficult lockdown period, and a lot of people are taking financial strain. So you will see if you go to my website that I charge for these free courses on my website 2,991 Rand. So that is the price that the public will be paying if they want to take up these free courses. But because you are attending these master classes, you are also not going to pay 2,991 Rand. I am going to offer all three of these courses to you for only 997 Rand. So that basically means that you will be paying for one course only, and you will be receiving two courses for absolutely free of charge. So 997 Rand once off, and you will be receiving all three of these online courses. Now, this offer will only be valid for a limited period. You will see on the offer page that it will indicate how much time is left until this offer expires, and then you can go to the bottom of this video of this masterclass, and you will see that the offer is set out there, and there is a button that you can click to pay and take up this amazing offer. Now, I know for a fact that you will be receiving a lot of value from doing these courses, and therefore I am more than happy to offer you a 14-day money-back guarantee. If you are doing these courses and you are not receiving any value, or it's not what you thought it would be, you are welcome to contact me and I will refund you your money. So go to the bottom of this video afterwards, and you will see the offer only paying 997 Rand for all three of these courses. Really an amazing price. You will not find a price cheaper than this anywhere else. So just go there and take up this amazing offer. Then I just want to quickly share with you 3 summarized testimonials. You will be able to see the full testimonials on the offer page, but Isabel said it's life-changing, a must for every business owner. And Yoke said, take control of your finances. Be inspired to analyze your finances much more. And Angelique said, a great course. I wish I knew this before I needed it. So such beautiful testimonials, and I believe you will be experiencing the same value, but I will also be making available masterclass 2 for you tomorrow, and there I will be discussing why chasing sales can cause financial difficulty, as well as the 3 practical ways to instantly improve your cash flow. We want to create as much cash flow as possible, because we've seen now in this masterclass that it is the lifeblood of any business. And in masterclass 2, I will be giving you a few practical tips that can help you to instantly improve your cash flow. And then as part of masterclass 3, I will be talking about why your accountant never told you how to manage your finances, and also the 4 key principles to achieve financial success. So this can definitely help you whether you are just starting out as a business or whether you are a seasoned business owner. I know that these key principles can get you to achieving financial success in your business. So I want to thank you for listening to this masterclass. I hope you have received a lot of value, and please go and click on the button below for to take up the offer. I'm sure that you will receive a lot of value, and it will help you to create a financially stable business. But I also want to invite you, if you do have any questions whatsoever, you can see my email address there, ronel@financiallyfitlife.co.za. So please pop me an email, and I will be more than happy to help you with any questions that you might have. But then I'm looking forward to be talking to you again during masterclass 2 that I will be making available tomorrow. I hope you have received good value and that you will be able to go back to your business and make sure that your business is pandemic proof.